how to save money even when working a 9 to 5 job. Today, I got 5 tips to give y'all that have personally helped me out save money throughout all the years working 9 to 5s. I don't like to do no intro on this channel, so I'm just going to get straight into it. Now, the first tip I can give y'all, track all of your expenses, but also track how much money you make on the spreadsheet, or you can just write it out. It doesn't really matter. Basically, me, for example, right? I make about 21 an hour, not crazy, but whatever, it gets my bills paid, right? So what I do is that comes out to about 3,200, let's just call it 3,200, right? Take out taxes, maybe it's like 2,800. Let's just call it 3K, go down the middle, right? So let's say my rent is $1,000, all monthly, by the way. Rent is $1,000, groceries are 300, car payment 200, and then whatever, some other stuff. So let's say my expenses are 2K a month, but I make 3K a month. Then boom, you can easily save up $1,000 a month doing that. So what you guys need to do is really write this down, go into your computer, make a Excel spreadsheet or whatever, I don't know, and write down all of your expenses. So you got rent, X amount, groceries, X amount. What else might you have? Subscriptions, X amount, gym, X amount, your dog, X amount. If you have kids, whatever, all that stuff, you write it out. And then you also write, how much am I making every single week, bi-weekly, monthly maybe. I personally get paid weekly, which is another tip I'm just going to throw in there. Highly recommend, if you can, find a job that pays you weekly rather than bi-weekly. I've worked both jobs, right? Bi-weekly and weekly. Personally, I think weekly pay is a hell of a lot better. It's a lot easier to track it rather than bi-weekly. You'll be chilling at the beginning of the week, and then the next week rolls around and you're eating ramen. So I like getting paid every single Friday. It's more consistent. Anyway, so that's what I would do, right? So if you're making, let's say after taxes, you get $700 a week. That's like roughly what I would make. Then I just note that down every single time, 700, whatever. And then maybe some weeks are different, pick up overtime. That's why I just say write it all down, because you think you're chilling. You're not, bro. There's hidden subscriptions you forgot about. There's this you forgot about. Maybe you spend too much on this. Like even the little stuff, right? Let's say, because it's not all going to be bills. I mean, you're going to have your rent, you're going to have your groceries, you're going to have the stuff you need, but you're also going to have money for going out or money for going on a date or whatever, right? You're going to have wants. And I think a lot of the times when you don't track it, you're just going to say, oh, well, I have this amount of money, so boom, I'm going to spend all of it on my wants. No. Okay? If you make put it this way, if you make $3,000 a month, your expenses are $2,000 a month, give yourself at the most, I wouldn't even do this much, but let's just at the most $500 a month for like your wants. And this is wants, right? This is everything. Netflix, that's a want. Gym, that's a want. If it doesn't keep you alive, it's a want, okay? So anytime you go out to eat, that's a want. And you get my point, right? You really have to track it down, though, because if you just say, oh, well, I still have $1,000, you're going to blow the 1,000 and you didn't save anything that month. If you give yourself 300, boom, you just saved $700 if your monthly expenses are 2K and you make 3K. You get my point, right? So go into Excel, make a spreadsheet, track down every expense you have, including your wants, track down your paychecks. If the math ain't mathing, you gotta either make more or you gotta subtract, but that's how we're gonna save up money rather than blowing the rest on our wants. Okay, so that's the first tip I have for you guys. The next tip I have for you is to pull out physical cash from the bank and only use your card. I don't know about you guys. I'm a card guy. I don't keep cash on me. You know what I mean? I don't do any of that. If I go out, I'm going to use my card, right? I don't use any cash. So I love to do this because let's say you get paid weekly, even if it's $100 out of your paycheck, you pull out 520s, right? You do that every single week. That's what, $400 extra you just saved for the whole month. You know what I mean? Over $5,000 for the whole year. It's nothing crazy, but it's still a decent amount. So that's why I'm saying, like, every single paycheck, without a doubt, pull out X amount. You're going to have to do the math, but that's where tip number one comes in hand. You got all this tracked out, right? So if you know how much money you can pull out to save and the rest can be spent on bills or fun or whatever, then you can just use your card and you don't have to feel guilty about it. Because, like, the thing is, if you only use your card but you put all of your money into the card, it's such a high number that you're going to be more willing to spend that money, right? If you see like $9,872.50, that's such a high, like, just such a large amount, you're going to be tempted to spend it, right? When you don't realize a lot of that is your savings, how we're saving money, right? But if you only use your card for your expenses and you take physical cash out of the bank, put it in a safe, put it whatever, right? Shoebox doesn't matter. But you're going to save up a lot more money doing that. I've tried both ways. I've tried to just not have any cash at all. I end up spending it without a doubt. If I take $100 every single week out of my bank, out of sight, out of mind, I put it in my safe, I'm never seeing it again until I guess I'm done saving or whatever, or, you get my point, right? So take the money out of the bank, do the math on it, and then only use your card for your expenses. Gonna save a lot more. The third tip, physically write down your wants and your needs. A lot of people think their wants are their needs. It isn't, okay? What do you need? What do you need to survive? Here's what I would say, right? You need a roof over your head. Okay, I mean, I guess you don't need that, but we're going to throw it in there because most people, want that. You need your lights on. You need gas. You need heat. You need AC. We're just going to throw that in there as well. You need clothes on your back. You need food in your stomach. That's your needs, right? But if we're talking about our wants, a lot of the times we throw it in. It's like, oh, well, I need the gym. If you're really struggling, bro, and you're really trying to save some money, you do not need a gym. It's a waste of money. I'm not saying not to work out, but do it at your home. Do it in a park. I'm just saying, like, you could really go to it all depends on how much you want to save, how much money you're making. If you're really trying to just, like, save up a lot, do not have a gym membership. Do not have a car. I mean, if we're really talking about saving, staying down till we come up, sell the car, bro. Or at least get a cheap one. Like, bro, I drive a 2012 Toyota Corolla with like 190,000 miles on it. It's not luxurious at all. It's not a chick magnet at all. Do I care? No, because it's all paid off. I'm chilling. It gets me from point A to point B. If you really want to stay down and stack money, bro, get a bus pass. Guarantee you, especially with the way gas prices are, guaranteed to save you some money. Okay, so physically write down your wants and your needs. Like I said, you need food, you need the lights on, you need roof over your head, clothes on your back, you get the point. But going out to eat with your friends, it's a want. Having a gym membership, it's a want. Having a Netflix subscription, it's a want. Spotify, a want. So many, and you think it doesn't add up. You think the $15 of Spotify does. It's a lot of little stuff that adds up over time. It's nothing too big. It's not like rent that's $1,000, but it's these little $15, $20 pockets that I'm just saying, bro. You know what I mean? I talk to a lot of my friends and they're like, oh, I need to do that. No, you don't, bro. If you really want to save money, no, you don't. You need the bare minimum. So write it all down. Everybody has different wants and needs, but write it all down and try and eliminate as many wants as you can. The more, or at least get cheap or free wants. If your wants are costing you your whole paycheck and you're trying to save money, eliminate them. Okay. So on to number 4. Now this one's pretty controversial. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me. I don't really care though. Stop dating. Stop going out with your friends. All that. Okay. Now, I say it's controversial because I'm not saying you can't save up money if you're going on dates, if you're trying to meet women, if you're going out with your friends. Listen, you can for sure save money, but generally speaking, if you're dating someone, you're going to spend more money. If you're hanging out with people, you're going to spend more money. And it's because there's multiple brains working, right? If you are with 5 of your friends right now, guaranteed one of them will suggest, let's go out to eat. Majority says yes. You now feel pressured to spend money when you weren't going to spend money in the first place. Oh, let's go here. Let's do this. This is going to cost us money, right? Now, listen, it's a flip side because you can for sure date and you can for sure hang out with your friends. But I'm just saying, if you're going to do that, I get it. I understand. You want to live life. You don't want to just pay the bills. Like, obviously, that's a terrible way to live. Nobody just wants to work off all day just to survive. But do cheap stuff or do just free stuff. So if you know your friends are the type of friends to say, let's go out to eat, like the only time they see you is when it's going to be spending money, stop hanging out with those friends or suggest something new. Hey, why don't we go on a hike? Look into what your city has to offer. Every city is different, you know what I mean? If your city has mountains, go hiking. If your city has beaches, go to the beach. Do free, more free, better. If you're taking a girl out on a date, don't take her out to a steakhouse. Take her to a coffee date, or hell, go hiking. That's free. And if she says, "Oh well, you spend money," that ain't the one, bro. Because you don't even want to be with someone like that. So it's controversial. I'm not saying you can't date. I'm not saying you can't do this. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying limit it for one, or suggest free or cheaper options. Because, think about it this way. If you always go out to eat with your friends and do all this stuff, right? And you know you're going to spend a lot of money, it's like, dude, that adds up a lot. If you are trying to find a girlfriend and you date, right? You spend $100 a week on a date, bro, that's $100 that you did not need to spend. That very well could have been saved in a shoebox. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm trying to say. Stop. Just stop doing that. Okay. That is the 4th one. Now the 5th one, I guess I kind of already talked about it. Start doing stuff that's free rather than that costs money. Okay. So me, for example, I'm an outdoorsy person. I always have been. I like, I like hiking. I like going to the lake. I like doing free stuff, right? Going out to eat is cool and all, but I don't do it a whole lot because it's expensive, bro. Why the hell would I spend $20 on a meal when that could literally feed me for the next 2 to 3 days? Like, it's a convenience thing, and I get that, but it's a waste of money at the same time. So start looking into what your city has to offer for free and start doing it. Start going to those free events. If you're a nature person, dive into the nature. You know what I mean? Clubs that are cheap or free. My point is, if having fun to you is going out to steakhouses 24/7 and doing this, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying you might need to look at what you find fun, find new hobbies, or stop doing those things as much. Because I'm not judging you if you like to go to steakhouses all the time, but you have to be real with yourself and say, if I'm trying to save money, why the hell would I be dropping $100 on a steak every single week when I could very easily save that money? You see my point, right? So that's all I'm trying to get at is, just find more free to do. And a lot of people who have no personalities will tell me I'm wrong and tell me, well, me and my friends go out every week and it's the only way we can socialize. Those are terrible friends, bro. And you need to find better friends. And if the women you're taking out are upset that you won't drop crazy thousands of dollars on them, you need to find better women. And you also have to ask yourself, is that someone I really want in my life? Do I really want someone who is that obsessed with my money? They're not paying for, but they expect me to drop. Like, for example, would you really want to go out with a date with, even if you were rich, bro? I would, even if I had all the money, I would hate to date a woman that is constantly like expecting this, expecting that, expecting the Prada, expecting the Gucci, expecting the steakhouse dinner. No, even if I had all the money in the world for it, I would not want to be with someone like that. I want to be with someone where I can tell them, hey, let's go on a hike, and they're down for it. It doesn't have to be a hike, but just something free and they're down for it. Why does your happiness equate to a price tag? That's a bar. I just made that up. But seriously, anyway, you get my point. So I just want to end it off with saying, stop kicking it with people that always want to spend money. Like, that's the only way they can have fun. You know what I mean? Find more free stuff to do. If you really want to save money, bro, you got to find more free stuff to do. You got to limit how much you're spending that doesn't need to be spent. And that's pretty much it. So it's going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay down until you come up, man.